What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of What the Puck. We're one guy short. Drew is in the mountains somewhere in Montana. Hi, Drew, if you're watching.
What's up, Drew?
Have fun. We'll see him next week. I know we're a day late. Of course, internet took a shit last night. So what are you going to do? Couldn't record, couldn't do anything. So we're here today going over some hockey. Just a quick shout out. Got a text message the other day from my cousin Lexi back home in New York. Big Islander fan. We know how I feel about that.
Don't we all?
She's a big Islander fan, and she goes, "Is that all you do on your show is just make fun of the Islanders?" Yes, Lexi, that's all I do. Although, it doesn't look like I can right now.
Try our best.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Lexi, yes, I hate the Islanders. You're still the best. It's okay. Very smart girl. Just could have been a little smarter on picking your hockey team. Good luck in your senior year at St. John's. Have a good one. Stay safe. Yes, the Islanders. I don't fucking get it. It's my nightmare. This is my fucking nightmare. Ridiculous. It really is. I turned on the TV last night, and my wife is in the other room, and I threw the remote at the couch. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "This is my fucking nightmare." And it was 1-0 Islanders, and I put a video on Instagram about it, and they just fucking steamrolled the fucking Flyers. It was not even a contest. They made Carter Hart look like pedestrian, like he was a fucking emergency goalie. Even worse than what's his face on Carolina that came in that time.
Oh yeah. I
forget his name. I forget.
Is that the one that just got fired from Calgary last season too?
I don't think
something.
So.
Or Peters?
No, not Peters. I forget his name. It was so long ago. It was last year, but it's a long time. But yeah, I don't know, man. They took a shit on the Capitals, and looks like they're going to do the same to Philly, man.
You want to hear something even more sickening?
It can't get any more sickening than this.
So I did my little recap. My apologies, guys. Had a few things going on the last couple of days, so I wasn't able to do them this weekend. But Varlamov has yet to be scored in 136-plus minutes.
Insane. Since
Ovi scored on him at the 3:40 mark in Game 5.
It would be Ovechkin to score on him,
though. Yeah. I don't know how much longer he can handle it. I mean, he was on fire last night. You threw it out the net, and he was in front of it.
I hate everything about him, including his helmet that says Brooklyn on one side and Long Island on the other. Fuck off. He's the worst. Not really, but, I mean, you know, when you look at it, though, honestly, as a hockey guy, you look at it, hell, man, they're just well put together.
Yeah.
The team gels. They play well. Beauvillier, Barzal, you know, just
old man Mike Green. Christ.
Mike Green is 37. He's my age. The guy looks like he's 75. He plays like he's 28. I don't understand. He's like Keith Richards. He's regenerating. I don't know how he's doing it. It's absolutely insane.
If that guy's 37, then I must be, 25 still? I'm sorry.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, the Islanders look like they're going to take the series. It's still early. I mean, they played Game 1 last night. Game 2 is tomorrow. It's still early. I think the game is at 3 o'clock or something super early. I just didn't see the Flyers that I saw in the first round against Montreal. They had a hard time with Montreal.
Yeah.
They come up against a team like the Islanders, and it was just insane last night. I wanted to vomit.
But the thing is I mean, the Flyers did go up against one of the greatest goalies right now. I mean, even though he isn't with one of the greatest teams, Carey Price by far is one of the greatest all-time goalies right now. Yeah. Future Hall of Famer right there. And they figured out a way to beat him. I mean, look at the first game or the game 2 against the Canadians. They lost 5-0, 6-0, and then came back and maybe allowed at the most 3 goals, if I'm correct. So they're going to find a way. AV is one of those coaches. He's not afraid to switch things up at last minute, and he's not afraid to bench those who needs to be benched. Does that mean Carter Hart needs to be sat down for a game? Then sit down Carter Hart, let him rethink himself, and put him right back. See what happens in game 2. But the Islanders have Barry Trotz, and no matter – Barry Trotz is kind of like that pot of gold. You bring it in, magic is going to happen. Little bald elves are going to be jumping on the bench. So, you know, he's magic for whatever team he touches.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the series as a whole, for me, as a Ranger fan, sucks. Because either way, I lose. So we're going to stop talking about it because I really don't give a shit. I do. Because I want to see the Islanders lose, but I also want to see the Flyers lose. So it's like, whatever. But on to Boston and Tampa, which is, man, ever since Pasternak came back, 6 games, he's got 6 points. That first line with him and Marchand and not Krejci. Line.
Is it not McAvoy? Is it Coyle?
No, McAvoy's on the power play with those two, and Pasternak's on the point. Oh, Bergeron.
Okay,
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that line is just ridiculous, and they just look like they're all over Tampa right now. Again, another team that's just being made to look pedestrian, even with all the firepower they have. Maybe they come through today. I think Game 2 is tonight at 7. Maybe they do something. Maybe they change it up. But it's been absolutely insane to watch. Boston's just been killing it. Ever since Tuukka Rask left, Jarro Halak came in and is just – I mean, dude, he's got a 2.23 goals against and a .921 save percentage. It's unreal. In 5 games, he's 4-1. Ever since Tuukka left, best thing to happen. Tuukka Rask definitely saw his last game as a Bruin. There's no way he stays with the Bruins. Maybe he goes to Pittsburgh. Maybe he goes to Washington and hope he leaves. It's going to be a lot of movement with goalies. But, dude, that series, I mean, I'd be surprised if Tampa Bay comes back. I mean, they looked shell-shocked the other night.
You know, the way that you feel about the Islanders and whatnot is the same way I feel about the Bruins. I cannot stand these fucking
I don't like them either.
Oh, God. Every time I talk about them, I want to get a puke bucket.
The whole Eastern Conference for me sucks right now.
Yep. What do you think I switched my background and I got my Go Knights Go T-shirt on? I switched.
I'm the West Coast man right now too. I'm West Coast man right now too. No way. I can't.
I was frustrated watching the Canes play. I'm not gonna lie. They looked like a bag of shit in most of the periods. And if any Caniacs are going to be watching this, yeah, you can rag on me all you want, but you know what? The truth hurts. They looked like shit. Their thing for Game 5 was, we're going to come out with a little bit of grit, and that's how we're going to win the game. No, you should have been coming out with grit since Game 1 and go to the net since Game 1 and playing all 3 periods. You just don't say that to try to stay alive for Game 5. I'm sorry. That's a pitiful excuse as a fan and as a player.
Hey, how do you think I feel? We lost to you guys, and then you went and laid an egg against Boston. I mean, yeah, Boston isn't the Rangers. We know this. But, I mean, I wanted Carolina to win that series. And now to watch Boston play, you know, the Rangers South pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you have the Islanders and Philly. The Eastern Conference is dead to me. I have no dog in the race in the Eastern Conference. I'm all Western. It's crazy to see. I mean, you look at Pasternak, he's back, 2 goals, 4 assists in 6 games played. He's rolling like he didn't miss anything. I mean, it'd be hard to see Boston not make it to the Cup at this point. I mean, if Tampa turns it up, who knows? They haven't really showed up. I think that series against Columbus took a lot out of them. And you know, we'll see where that goes. I mean, it's gonna be tough. And if Halak keeps playing like a brick wall back there, it's gonna be tough to beat with that defense. And you got McAvoy, Coyle. I mean, all these guys, even down to the fourth line.
Yep.
Like Rally, all those guys are just solid hockey players. It's so hard for me to say, but you got to give credit where credit's due.
I'm sorry, anybody but Boston.
I know.
I don't care who wins the cup. Anybody but Boston.
I know.
I'd even cheer on the Islanders.
Oh God.
I know that's sad as it sounds. I'd even be like, yes, the Islanders did it. Boston didn't even get a chance. I'd be dancing in the street naked.
So moving on to the Western Conference. So you got Dallas, who in my early podcast, when it was just me, I had them as a dark horse to win the cup. And people were like, oh, why, Khudobin and who knows where what's his face is going to be Bishop. The goaltending is kind of iffy. Dude, I don't give a hell what you say. Dallas on the Avs is just 5 goals, a 4-goal second period last night.
Yep.
They just look out of their minds right now. Radulov looks like he's playing the best hockey of his career right now. You got guys like rookies like Heiskanen that's just playing out of his mind. 11 assists, just dishing it everywhere. Khudobin playing out of his mind. Pavelski looking like he's back on San Jose about 7 years ago. I mean, it's absolutely insane to watch, and they're just picking apart the Avs.
Oh, so I'm going to refer to the Avs as the Western Conference Carolina Canes. Because on social media, they go back and forth. They act like best friends. And, I mean, it's kind of funny to see some of the posts that they tweet between each other. But you know what? Avs steamrolled right through the Yotes. Just like the Canes steamrolled right through the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Avs can't even play more than 1.5 periods.
Dude, it's crazy to watch.
It is. And it's not a goaltender's excuse. I mean, Francois was playing off his mind last night.
I mean, it hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, it hurt that Grubauer went down, though. I mean, that kind of hurt their chances.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose a guy like that, and you have to bring in, Francois, who's, he's decent, he's serviceable, but he hasn't really played in the playoffs. And then, I understand this is a little different, but you're looking at a team like Dallas who has their mix of players between rookies and playoff experience. And you got Pavelski, you got Sagan, you got Jamie Benn. I mean, these guys have been there.
Perry.
Corey Perry. They've been there. They've won cups. They know the grind. They have this experience. And, McKinnon and Landeskog and all these guys, they have playoff experience, but I just don't. They depend. Colorado depends on their first line to do everything. It stops at Kadri pretty much. When you look at they don't have a solid 3 lines, let alone 4. So, when you're exposed like that, like Dallas is doing, I mean, come on, a 4-goal second period in the playoffs.
It was so sad to watch. I'm sitting there watching, and I'm just like, it's I don't know. It's kind of like seeing a train accident happen right in front of you, and you want to do something about it, but you just want to watch it happen.
It was insane to watch. I mean, I'm excited to watch the next game, and like I said, I had Dallas pegged from the beginning. Yeah. Like, I saw them as a dark horse, and kind of excited because that might be the only thing I have left. I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love watching Vancouver right now as well, but transitioning over to that series. I mean, Vegas, man, 5-0. I mean, that's just Vegas things, man. There is no surprise there, and it looked like Vancouver just bowed down, man. Like, it was just all those young guys, Peterson, Besser, Hughes, all those guys just looked like in awe. I mean, the way they moved the puck. I mean, and Leonard, man, that was one of the best moves they made at the trade deadline. Chicago is kicking themselves in the ass for that trade. And he wanted to stay in Chicago. He wanted to stay in Chicago.
Well, I was reading that trade, and it actually went through. They got him from Toronto the same day when Chicago traded him to Toronto.
Was that the trade? I thought they just outrighted to Vegas.
If I read this correctly, he went he got traded to Toronto, and the same day Vegas picked him up from Toronto.
Okay, well, I mean, and Toronto,
unless it's a three-way deal.
They're a shit show to begin with anyway. They need a goalie bad. We're not getting into them, but there's more problems in Toronto than you can fucking count on two hands, and it's sad to watch. But dude, Vegas, man, I don't. If it's not, I mean, in my eyes, I'm hoping to see a Vegas-Dallas series because I really think that would be a fucking insane series to watch.
Yeah.
It would be physical. It'd be fun to watch. It'd be fast-paced. Goaltenders would be standing on their head. It'd be a lot of fun to see. I like Vegas. I'm rooting for Vegas in that series. I like Vancouver as well, but there's something that appeals to me about the way Vegas plays because not only can they play physical, I mean, there was close to 100 hits in the game the other night. It was a very physical game, and I like that kind of hockey because I think in the playoffs you need that style, which is, again, going back to the Rangers, that's what they lacked. And when you come to the playoffs, you can't lack that. And that's a hell of a series. And I want to go to you because I think you brought something up to me the other day about Fleury and his agent with a tweet that came about. What's that about?
So basically, I guess from what I was reading last night in the actual picture that I seen, it was Fleury making a save with the knight sword going straight through Fleury's back, and it had DeBoer's on it. And I guess his agent tweeted it out, and Fleury basically came back and said, that I didn't ask him to do it. That wasn't me. That was my agent doing it. I've known my agent for years. In a way, maybe his agent was kind of defending him because he hasn't seen that much gameplay. But him and, per the article that I read on NHL.com, there's no love-hate loss between Fleury and Leonard. They're taking it as a joke. They're just like, you know what? We want to win, and we're going to win how we need to win. And there's no animosity between either one of us. We're here as a team. We're going to play as a team, and we're just going to kind of like let that go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously his agent doesn't know what playoff hockey is. I mean, you're going to play your hot hand. You're going to play your hot goalie.
Yep.
Leonard's playing outstanding right now. So why not stick with it? And what kind of luxury does Vegas have to have a fucking potential Hall of Fame goalie sitting on the bench at the best seat in the house and Leonard playing his ass off? Yep. There's no that's like the best thing you can have in the playoffs. So just leave it. And Fleury knows. Fleury's been there. He knows what's up. He's a veteran.
Yep.
If he doesn't play a game this series and they go to the next series, or even if he doesn't play in the next series and they go to the finals, I really don't think he gives a shit.
No, I think he just wants one more cup.
Exactly.
Yep.
And his agent really, and if I was Fleury, I'd let it. I mean, just shut up, man, because now you're turning turmoil to me, and I got to look and put out fires for you. You're not even on the ice.
Yep.
So that's the shit that I can't stand. Like, know what you're talking about. Like, you're not going to – just because you're the highest paid goalie or you're the name doesn't mean you need to play. Look at the Rangers and Lundqvist. Fucking guy didn't get any burn pretty much. Yep. Maybe – I mean, I don't know. That's a tough situation. And, I'd like to see how that pans out throughout the series. I mean, if Leonard has a shit game, maybe Fleury comes in. Who knows? I mean, it doesn't look like given 5-0, given another shutout of a team like Vancouver who's got firepower, guys that can shoot the puck from anywhere and play well off the puck.
The thing about Vegas, the cool thing about Vegas is even when they're losing, they come back. Like a lot of their wins in the first couple of rounds between the round robin as well as the first round, a lot of them were comeback wins. And it was how I've recapped it as Vegas doing Vegas things.
Oh, dude.
And they're always putting on a show, which is really great too. So, I mean, they're sticking with the theme, they're sticking with the name, and they're one of the most feared teams in the playoffs right now.
Oh, I wouldn't want to play.
And oh God, no.
Mm-mm. No way. Not that lineup. Up and down that lineup, you got guys that just play their ass off.
But
There's
with
no.
that being said, I don't think Dallas is done against I don't think the Avs are done against the Dallas. I think the Avs are going to strike back. 1 or 2 games, maybe. And I think Vancouver has at least 1 or 2 games in them. But to see both of those teams move on right now, the way that they're playing, you can't really judge Vancouver after 1 game, especially what they did in the last round and the round before that. They're magical. It was just one of those teams that you just wanted to see continue play.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver has a bright future. This
Yep.
isn't it for them. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I think they're going to come back at least 1 or 2 games.
Mhm.
But to beat the Knights right now, I just don't see it happening. I'd love to see the Avs go on to the 3rd round, but if they don't show up, they're going to just – the Avalanche is going to stop right in the desert heat of Dallas.
There's no way. If they come out like they have the first 2 games, they need to change a game plan hard.
Yeah.
They need to change. I would even juggle lines. I would spread out my talent, juggle lines. They got to figure something out. I mean, if your talent stops at you have Makar, all these young guys, and it's not gelling right now. It gelled the first round. It certainly gelled the last 2 games against Arizona, 14 goals. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely picking Dallas and Vegas. I like Vancouver. It's not over for them. This is a great stepping stone. They made the playoffs. They're a young team. It's better than where they were the last 2-3 years. Let them build off of this, gain the experience, and I really think they're going to be one of the better teams in the NHL come the next 5 years. I honestly believe that. Moving on to some NHL news around the league. I mean, you look at Pittsburgh firing all their assistants. Pittsburgh fired everybody. And they're also having goaltending issues where you have Tristan Jarry and you have Murray. And they've come out publicly and said they're going to trade one of them. My vote is for Murray if I had one. He's been weak. He hasn't played well. Jarry's come in tough situations and has played very well. I know how you feel about Murray. We've heard about this we heard about his glove hand. We all know about it. That should be interesting to see because then you have, on the other hand, you have Pittsburgh's rival. You have Washington. Hope he doesn't know if he's going to stay.
He actually quoted the other night, or basically he was, where's that quote? It said something along the lines of, it could have possibly be the last game you see me in a Caps jersey. He's unsure right now. He's basically taking it one day at a time. He's going to see where things go. I know from the article he was saying that he wanted to discuss signing or what the possibilities of a future are after the playoffs. He didn't want to do it during the playoffs. Whereas the Ovi situation, 13 seasons with the Capitals. He had I think it was 13 or 14 at his contract deal. One cup. He wanted to talk, but he wanted to focus on playoffs. And now that the playoffs are done and over with, he's willing to wait till training camp. I think two of the biggest things right now for the Capitals is, one, do you sign Holtby, or do you concentrate more on a coach, put Holtby in the midst of things right now, and take care of the team first, and then the actual players?
I mean, it's an interesting situation for Washington right now because, they're only a couple of years removed from their win, from their Stanley Cup win. It's not like, their window is closing, but let's not forget, you have a good mix. They're young and old, all those guys, and then you have probably one of the best players in the league in Ovi. So you can't really veer off of that. My first order of business would be to get Ovi signed. You have to. There's no way. Now, what kind of contract is he going to take? He's older. What are we looking at here? Hopi, you can always go out now the way things are going and get a goalie. Now, do you possibly see Murray and Hopi switching sides? That is a possibility. That would be very interesting and an amazing storyline to see, especially in the Metro. That would be a lot of fun to watch. Now, going with their coach, Todd Reardon, fired.
Yep.
Done. That's what happens. Yep. You see what happens when you lose to the Islanders? Everybody has the same feeling I do. It's like, how the fuck did you do that? This team is shit. We're firing you. That's I'm pretty sure that's how the meeting went. So, a couple of guys that they have on their list of coaches, and I'm sure you have a list there, but there's a couple on this list that and I'll go with the ones that I know damn well is not going to happen. And I looked at this list and I was like, you've got to be shitting me. So the first one, Mike Babcock. No fucking way. There's no way. Ovi is not playing for Mike Babcock. Babcock is probably the biggest piece of shit. Ask Mike Commodore. Go look at his Twitter. He hates him. Played for him in Detroit. Biggest piece of shit. Look what he did in Toronto. Nothing. He had his years in Detroit, and I don't even think it was him. I'm pretty sure all those Swedes and everyone carried that team, not Mike Babcock. I mean, there's no way. There's no way. And the other one, in my opinion, that's on there, and I mean, he had his chance with them for 5 years, is Bruce Boudreau.
Yeah.
Why is that even out there? He ain't coming back. You had your chance. You had 5 years. You left, and they got a cup. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Out of all of them, my choice, and as shocking as it's going to sound, is I want to see Kirk Muller.
Wow.
Because if you think about it, after what happened in the playoffs this year, I think the Caps, I think you and I were discussing this, the Caps want to get gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Muller's an old school player.
Yes, he is.
He's come from the league where if you're not tough, get the hell out. Mm-hmm. And so I think what he did with the Habs, and even though they got they got knocked out by the Flyers in the first round, the Canadians showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of they showed that they could play under Kirk. I know he was just continuing Julian's system, but you know what? Why not give the guy a shot? I think I think he earned it after this.
I like that. And I think my pick, a little bit of a surprise pick, because given the route that the Capitals have taken in previous years when they pick coaches, the head coach for the Hershey Bears, Spencer Carberry, pretty good coach. I mean, knows their system. He's only been coach for 2 years in the AHL, but he knows their system. He knows how the Capitals play. He knows their youngsters. Given the route that Washington takes, when they're choosing their coaches, I like this guy. He knows the young guys. And I mean, what else do you need to know? Okay, put Ovi on the left side on the power play and let him take shots off one-timers all day. There's your coaching job. I mean, you know the youngsters, you know how they play. That's my pick. That's my dark horse pick for this job. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. I think they may go with a bigger name. Bausma is also on this list. Not happening. No.
Nope.
Not a chance. I see them going either off the grid, like a guy like Carberry, or like you said, I mean, Kirk Muller would be an amazing fit for that team. Given
what would you think about Jared Gallant? Seeing what he did with Vegas, you think he would hop ship kind of like Boers did from San Jose to Vegas?
Maybe. I mean, here's the thing. You know who's going to be the sounding board for this decision. It's going to be Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Who does Ovi want to play for? They're going to pull him into a room. Here's our list. Who do you think you would play for?
Right now, I think Ovi doesn't really care because he's got one more season, and if they are willing to pay him, then he's going to be like, all right, hire who you want to hire because –
Yeah, but I think he wants one more cup. So he's looking at – I could be wrong, but knowing his competitiveness, he wants another cup. So in my eyes, you're going to want to play for a guy who's going to make the team gel around you and get you the puck in the situations you need to have it.
I'd probably go with one of our three people that we talked about. Either Mueller, Jalon, or your guy from Hershey.
Barber,
Because all the other runners-up, you got Mike Yo, who really didn't do much.
No, he's a powder puff. There's no way.
John Stevens, he didn't really do too much.
I don't like the Arneal. I mean, here's the other thing, actually. Scott Arneal, who was an assistant under Reardon, which is how Reardon got his job as being an assistant. That's a possibility. Although I'm not a fan of the way he coaches. I don't like the way he runs his. I mean, here's the thing. In Washington, you don't need to run a power play. Your special teams is set. Feed the puck to Ovi on the left side for a one-timer. Like, that's it. That's
like
all
the Joe
you need.
Montana. It's almost like the Joe Montana Jerry Rice combination back in the day with the 49ers. It's like
your job
football gets hiked and look for Jerry Rice. That's
your job is set on the power play. So you have that luxury. So I don't know. I see it going a couple ways. I'd love to see them go with a first-year coach again because let's face it, a lot of these guys are getting older. So you're going to be infusing young blood from Hershey into Washington. Yep. Who better than to know these guys from Hershey to coach a team that's, I don't know. I think that would be a good fit. It all depends, again, like I said. Ovechkin's going to be the sounding board for that, in my opinion. He wants another cup. As competitive as he is, there's no doubt about it. That's my opinion, but I'm glad we agree on those three. I would say Arneal too to sneak in based on their past as well, but we'll see what happens in that aspect. To close out the show, I started with the Islanders. We're gonna end it with a former Islanders GM being a complete and utter asshole. Mike Milbury on NBCSN. What a moron. And it's funny. Whenever he tweets, I kind of shit on him a little bit from our Twitter. Like he'll be like super excited to head to the bubble. I'm like, oh, we're not. Can you not go? Obviously going to be worse. Turns out it is. So Brian Boucher had a comment the other night. He was like, man, it's been really great here in the bubble. A lot of things, there's no, it's been easy for the players. And this dumbass goes, yeah, not even any women here to distract you. You dumb fuck. What's wrong with you? And that's not, it's funny. That's not and of course it's him, but that's not the first time in this playoff season that he's had a hateful anti-woman comment. Yeah. During one of the games between Pittsburgh and the Canadiens, between the Pens and the Habs, he said, man, it's so empty in here. It's almost like going to a women's hockey college game.
God.
My God, you're an idiot.
Has he not been to a ladies' college hockey game?
No, apparently
those stands are packed. Those stands are packed.
This is what happens. When you touch anything with the Islander logo or part of that organization, you turn into a fucking moron. And he's a moron. He's an idiot. And he played for two teams. He played for Boston back in the day, which doesn't help his case in my eyes. So. No. And he talks out of his ass about everything that he analyzes, and I can't stand watching him. NBCSN is lucky to lose this guy. I hope they let him go. I know he stepped away and made, a statement, but dude, get the fuck out of here, man. You are the epitome of a moron, and I can't stand him. First off, and this not biased in any way, but every time the Rangers are on NBCSN, and I will try to find highlights or anything from it, but the Rangers could be up 5-0 and he'll be like, oh, they look like shit. Like, what are you talking about?
If he doesn't like you,
yeah.
If he doesn't like you, he's not going to say anything good about you. I know, being a Canes fan as well, he doesn't like the Canes. He's very rarely said anything nice about the Canes, and I think people were even commenting this season when they were shocked when NBCSN said something good about the Canes, and then Mike Milbury comes up and he'll say something like, even when the Canes are playing their tits off, he'll find something to negate towards. And it's like, dude, just shut the hell up. You ruined the Islanders. You screwed over Boston. Your opinion is like paper mache. We can rip it up and throw it in the fire and watch it burn.
Dude, he's
just like his career now. It's up in smoke.
He's a fucktard. My thing, the NBCSN needs to revamp their crew, because you got him, who probably won't be there, who knows, and then you have, Dick in a Box, aka Pierre Maguire.
God,
I can't even deal. But yeah, guys, closing out the show with that. Jeff, again, thanks so much for coming on. We miss Drew. Drew, we miss you. We'll see you next week.
So I do have a couple shout outs before I go, though.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So as we know, I'm kind of a little bit of a party boy. I was out at the bar this weekend and started chit-chatting with a couple people. It's kind of how I've been getting the word out about our show. So this goes out to a couple people in my hometown, upstate Messina, New York, to Marcus LeBrake, huge Bruins fan. I'm sorry, bud. They suck. I told you that night. They suck.
Gross.
And then the next one is Robert Chamberlain, same town. He's a Pens fan. Sorry, bud. Your team's going to crap. But you know what?
Do you meet these guys?
I meet them at a local small town pub.
Ugh. Pens and Bruins. At least I'm not Islander fans. That's always a plus. Well, shout out to those guys. Yeah, so, yeah, do us a favor, guys. Please let us know what you think, what's going on. If you don't agree with us, please hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom. There, Game On, a sports podcast for everyone on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter at Game On Everyone, Instagram at Game On Sports Podcast. We'll be coming at you next week. Thank you guys so much, and have a good night and enjoy the rest of the playoffs.
Go Knights, go. I'm jumping ship and moving west.